Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to perform some of the Linux admin tasks, how to create a user group, how to create user, assign user group to user, and how to create a sudoers file, and how to delegate the normal user who cannot perform the admin kind of activities and log in as a sudo user, substitute user, and then perform. So how do we customize all these things and also understand the group file system and sudo file system from the admin standpoint of view? Okay, hope you might have set up the previous instructions followed for setting up a Linux machine in your local Windows machine as a guest operating system. Hope, hope that okay. Now let's move to the use case understanding. As I was describing before that we wanted to understand about how the user group file organized, how sudoers file organized. Ensure that you are not going to change anything from the sudoers file. That's the key important aspect. If anything goes wrong, your Linux machine corrupted. If you did not perform appropriately, if you have performed appropriately, then yes, it is well and good. Okay, be cautious whenever, wherever you are working in the real-time environment. By touching the sudo file, ensure that you do first a backup and then perform on top of that anything else, or follow the how the organization is being instructing to do some kind of admin activities. So here, as I said, these are the specific use cases of which I am going to perform. Creating a group, okay, new group, brand new group, and creating a brand user, or I can use existing user. I'm just giving an example, and assign the user to a specific group, and that group can perform what kind of operations. And also, once you create the users, then you need to have a sudo file wherein you can have the specific user perform what kind of activities. And also we will explain in this video how a general user can be delegated to a sudoer user, and sudoer user can perform some of the admin kind of activities without seeking the root user password, because ideally in the organizations very rarely they share the root admin password, because if that is the very important. If anything goes wrong, the whole system corrupts it. So then a lot of people responsibility. Okay, and how to add users to sudo group and control specific commands for that particular sudo user, and how to delegate the normal user. Say you are an employee into the organization, say you are a Linux administrator, they will not allow to your login to perform any kind of operation on a specific machine with your user credentials. What they do is they create a sudo user. They'll ask that, okay, hey, your name, your username is this. Whenever you wanted to perform some Linux operation, you log in with like specific syntax they'll give you. So you follow sudo su hyphen followed by the name of the sudo user, then substitution user, and then you need to perform those activities we will see in the video. Let us first understand how the group file organized. You can see that /etc group is the name of the location where you see this particular file. If you log in with any user, either root user or a normal standard user. So general is the name of the group. X is a shadow password it represents, and that general group ID is 502. And there are certain users associated to that group. So John, Shelley, Bob, like that. These are the documents I just got from internet and I depicted here for understanding purpose. Okay. Now I have taken the part of the sudoers file. So this is how the sudoers file uh, look like, part of it, not the full file. You can definitely visit by logging into the Linux machine and by applying the sudo command. Okay, we will see further. So you can see that a root all equal to in the bracket all colon all again all. What all these mean? It is a self-explanatory, still though I can explain. So root, this is the name of the user. All means on all the OS boxes, or you can specify specific OS box name. So you can apply this root user. Then followed by on behalf of the user, the root user can perform anything. That is the inside the bracket, the the first all represents. Then after the colon, you see another all, right? So that means on behalf of the any group, the root user can perform any operation. That is the superpower with the root user. And then the followed by the last all. What it means, what kind of a commands can be executed? All means all the commands, change owner, change directory modes, whether read write kind of a mode or execute mode, all these things. Just an example. Now let's understand our use case. So I'm going to create two groups. Sudo admins is one group, user group is another group, which has unique identifiers. And I am going to have users created, and here I am assigning to the direct group ID. Instead of group ID, you can use user group name as well while creating time. And I'm resetting password for, say I am the normal user who is an administrator activity performing. But for me, they create one user in that machine, and also they create one standard sudo user, that is, say the name of the user is HTTP Say for example, this is used for the Hadoop account. So Hadoop admins can perform certain activities, right? So they never share the password ideally with the standard users. So they will always delegate my user to connect to the HTTP CSC and then perform it. Only the HTTP CSC password they share with specific people. If it is really required, yes, they will. Otherwise, no, they will not share. They will ask a lot of questions. You need to answer for them. And also, I'm going to create here a custom sudoers file. So sudo is the command to use and create a visitors file, and then you can set up your instructions as you have seen as a part of the sudoers file in the previous slide. And here I'm delegating n-basset-t is the user and our linux 92 is the name of the host, and I'm saying I'm going to execute a substitute sudo user on behalf of that user. I can log in as an admin, and then I can perform some activities like a DNF install, DNF update, change mode, and change ownership. Once my file is ready, ensure that my file is valid one or not. If not valid, then your activities will not be performed. So that is the key. Be careful with the sudoers when you are playing it. So in my previous video, I have given instructions how to download the image, set it up in your Windows physical machine as a guest operating system, the Linux one, and please follow and make sure that before you start up with, your VM, you enable this port forwarding by following the previous video. Now I would prefer to start my guest operating system as a headless mode. So I'll select the name of the operating system, and then I come to start drop down, I choose headless start. Then my operating system will start in the background, and I use putty binary to log in. So by entering the IP port, and I want to save the session if it's a brand new. If it's already there, I load and then log in. That's all about this conceptual wise. Now let us move to the let us move to the real hands-on session and see whether you can able to perform those activities as an administrator. Okay, so that is the agenda of this video. As I was describing before, I'm going to start. This is the name of the operating system I wanted to start, and I wanted to perform some activities. So what I do is I choose this and then I start. Looks like something is a faulty or something. Let me see this. So this is saying that starting my virtual box in the background. So you can see the status. If you start in the foreground, for example, so that will starts up as a separate icon. I don't want to do that. That's the reason I'm starting in the background. So meantime, let us start that. So I have already saved a session. I'm going to use that putty and load that, and then I say login. Now let me increase the font size by changing the settings so that you can see appropriately. Hope you can see this. Font size is comfortable. So I log in as a root. Welcome one is the password. Now you see that the terminal is ends with ash. That means this is an admin user. So now, as I described in the PowerPoint, I'm going to create users, groups, and sudoers file, all these things. Before I go there, I wanted to show that make sure that your host file, the etc host file, has these contents are updated in your side. If not, you can use the vi commands slash etc hosts. Go ahead and add entry and then uh, use save exit. In this case, I am not doing anything, so I'm just quitting it. And then after doing this, make sure that you do a reboot. I'm not doing it, okay, because I already set it up this entry. So that's the reason I'm not doing it. So in case if it's not there, please go ahead and do it. So now let us understand the use case as per the examples. So I'm going to create two groups which I described, right? So I'm going to have the first group, that is sudo admins one of the group, then create another group, that is user group. Now what I do is these are the commands you need to know before you experiment the users groups creation. These are the admin basically automate the process in the real environment. Here I'm giving it as a manual. So user, I'm creating nbaseti is the name of the user. The name of the group is user group. I'm assigning. So what it is saying, okay, creating a file exists. Maybe yeah, I was doing some experiments. Maybe it is there. In your case, you will not see this. The mailbox file already, available. You will not see it if it is a brand new. Okay, if it is already existing, say it will say that it is already there. And then I will assign to sudo admins name of the group, and I create a user HTTP CSV. So this as well as already being existing. So that means I might have created and cleaned up before. So it is partially cleaned up. So here you will not see it in your machine if it's a brand new. Okay. So now I can see whether my user created or not by issuing ID, and you can see here user group. Here you can see additional groups. This is the primary group. This is the additional group, which you can see. The same case with the other user. You can see HDP CSC. So you have the primary group and you have the secondary groups. If you want to add to any other group, yes, you can go ahead and add it. Right now, I am not adding any other groups. So primary and the secondary groups both are the same. Okay. So this is how now you can see that your groups file, the notation has been updated. So now you can see that the user group created and assigned it to user, and this one is another user which has this is the user group for the user, and this is the admins group, and with the 5000. So you can see these details available for the admin level. Okay, only admins and users can do a reading. Admins do not modify this file directly. They have to go with the command basis, and based on the command that modifies the specific things here. Okay, so that is how this is being organized. Hope that's clear to you. Okay, now we can see the same way the sudoers file. So this is the sudoers file where you can see a lot of things. So you can see from beginning to here. So host alias, a lot of syntaxes, definitely self-explanatory, and you can experiment with this Linux machine. Absolutely fine, because you're playing on the guest operating system. So now look at it, the root. Root has on all the nodes, all the groups, and all the users, all commands can be executed. That's what they are saying. Allow root to run any commands anywhere. At the same time, we have another group called wheel. This is also, say if a user is part of this group, yes, he can also perform like an admin. So likewise, but we don't want to modify this file until unless you wanted to customize. Yes, you can do it by creating a fresh file. So to edit this file, make sure that you use sudo is the command. So now you can come and you can do whatever you want, but ideally we will not do anything. You can see that this slash sudo temp unchanged because I did not change anything. Now let me create a sudo file which I described in the exercise file. So where do I create slash etc? Let me clear the screen so that it will be easy for you to see it. -f slash etc sudoers .d. There is a directory which is created by operating system during the installation time. Here I say custom roles. So whatever I wanted to do it, I can go ahead and define in this file. So I go to the insert mode. So you need to know all the Linux at least basic vi commands and visdo, and then insert modes, save the file and come out of the file, all these things. So as I said, in the use case, I wanted to delegate my standard user to HDFC CSC user, and I wanted to perform some kind of installation operations. How do I do it? This is the command. I'm going to use it, and this is how I'm representing it. So I will come to this file, the custom rules file. I say that this is the name of the user who I am the Narayana. I'm an employee to this organization, but I got some work in terms of the admin task. So they said that whenever you want to perform some operations, they'll give that you have to log in like this, then you can able to perform some Linux operations. So this was set it up by the automatic fashion or by manual fashion, ideally automatic. Here I'm giving as a manual. So this is the name of the host which this user can perform this command operation. That is what this represents. In this machine, this command he can perform. Other than that, nothing he can perform. Now I have another user. That user can perform only on this machine this installation operation, update operation, changing mode operation, changing ownership of this. So now let me save W key. Now I have a sudoers file ready, that is custom file. Now I wanted to make sure that this file is valid one or not, because if it is not valid, it is not going to be performed any activities. So when I apply a validating command, that will give me the basic file. As I said, you never modify this file. Anything you wanted, you can come ahead and customize as many as rules in this file if you wanted, according to your needs. And this file also being passed by the validation command and saying that it's perfectly good. Okay. Now what I can do is I will duplicate the session, and now I have I have two users created and I haven't assigned the password. So what I do is I will create the passwords as well, because I just created only the users. Now I say pass w word, pass w word, wd. So I will say welcome one, again welcome one. It's a dictionary word. Yeah, I'm doing a trial and error. That's okay, absolutely fine. I create HTTP is the password the same way, welcome one, and I also create here welcome one. So now my both passwords ready, but ideally in the organization they never share HTTP CSC password until unless exceptionally to be performed some operation. Please keep it in your mind. They can share your password, whatever the domain name you use it, the same password they will configure to connect with it. Now, as I said, I'm going to log in as BSST and welcome one. So now I will try to do sudo, say dnf is the command to install or update. Say I perform this. So it is saying that give the password. I'll try to see whether you are eligible to run it. So what it is saying now, it is very clearly stating that sorry, user embassy is not allowed to execute DNF update as root on this mission. As a root user, on behalf of the root user, I am not allowed to perform. So this is how the status is. So in the organization, as I said, they'll give us some mechanism, some documentation. You have to come here and they say, hey, you log in as this user on behalf of your user. I will enable for you. This is called user delegation to a sudo user. Now I enter my password, my domain password, not for the HTTP CSV password. Please remember. Now what happens? My user logged in. From that user, I delegate it to HTTP CSV user. Now I can go ahead and perform the same operation. Whatever the command which I have issued before, for example, say sudo. Now it is asking for the password, right? Because I'm going to apply a command which is going to act as a admin to perform some operation. What is that operation? That is update of the operating system. So now what is the password? I need to know. This is the password I need to know to update. So sometimes they set it up without any password. Okay, so that's also possible. They will say that no password colon, be followed by the substitute user command. That means that time it will not ask. In this particular case, I set it up without any rule. Only just I'm saying that delegate to this user, but When I want to perform that operation, it is asking me to enter the password. Suppose if I say no password, that's what I'm saying. You need to go ahead and study a lot of things from the sudoers file. Here I have to come and say no password colon. If I specify, so that time it will not ask me any password. Make sure that you understand and follow the Linux sudoers file, all those things, and you can able to do it. So once you have created the user, you have your own space, that is slash home hdpcsc. If I exit from that, if I present working directory, this user directory has, like that it will create and available. Now you will be asked to run some operations on behalf of the sudo user. I hope this is the small demonstration which will enable you to understand the user creation, group creation, assigning users to group, and then user delegation approach using sudoers file. Uh, if you are happy learning the real-time scenarios, please subscribe, watch it, like it, share with others. If you have any questions, please post it. I'll try to see and I'll try to answer if possible. Thank you. That's all for today. See you with new video.